Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Directors, our President and CEO, Ms. Pat Shea, and the entire YWCA staff, we would like to take this opportunity to welcome our graduates, their friends and families, and our fine sponsors for participating in such a great event on such a great day. Our sponsors today include the Dollar General Literacy Foundation, United Way, the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. Our program partners include Bethlehem Centers and Mount Zion Baptist Church. Would you please give them all a round of applause? Obtaining a GED is such a great accomplishment. For more than 20 years, the YWCA has offered GED preparation services. Since July of 2009, the YWCA has served 968 students in the GED preparation program. We are honored to be a part of your success today. And we are also honored that we can be a part of that success. Once again, we welcome you, and we truly hope that you enjoy this moment. Now we will have words of encouragement by Elder Jamie Brigham of the Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Whenever I hear that music, it takes me back to when I was in high school and college, and the friends that I've grown up together, and for some, I never got an opportunity to see again because we all go our various ways. So it allowed me to, when I was listening to that, it took me back, and so allowed me to regain myself. I almost had a tear there. But to Christ, who is the head of our lives, to the bishop of this house in his absence, we greet you in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Some graduates may say, well, and others may say it rained on your graduation. But for those who are spiritual, we realize sometimes that's God's way of saying there's showers of blessings headed your way. Amen. Amen. The year was 1959. It's a man in his early 20s. He met a young lady, and he decided that he found the right one. He wanted to get married. Problem was, he did not graduate from high school. He only had a third-grade education. And his mother almost never, for the most part, never went to school at all. He grew up in poverty. But he did not want to have children and have them to live the kind of lifestyle and deal with the struggles that he had to deal with. He did not want his wife to have to go through those struggles. He was working jobs, odd jobs. Again, this is 1959. He mopped floors and he pumped gas. For the most part, that's pretty much all he could find. But someone talked to him and said, perhaps you should go back and earn your GED. He went to school at night, and he worked those jobs during the day. Eventually, he earned his GED. And because he had somewhat of a speech impediment, someone suggested he attend classes at Watkins Institute. He went there and continued to improve in the area of speech until he enrolled, and the Lord called him into ministry. He graduated from the Hopkinsville College of the Bible and then American Baptist College. He obtained 2 degrees because he wanted better for his family. He had 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. The man was my dad. All of his children, we've all graduated from college. We've all earned, at minimum, a bachelor's degree. but it was because of the focus that he placed on us. He did not want us to have to struggle in life. He decided to go back and earn that GED. Graduates, I say that to simply say that what you're doing today, for those of you who have children, your children are watching you. And what you're doing today, you're placing a seed in them because mama and dad, or perhaps they earned that diploma. I too want to earn my diploma. There was a song made popular, and I'm dating myself, early in the 70s. The song was sung by a group called McFadden and Whitehead. Some of you know that song. And the song was, in the vernacular, "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." And I encourage you graduates to perhaps use that song, but make it personal. For those of you who may decide to go back and seek your degree, when people begin to ask you why you've earned your GED, why don't you stop there? You tell them that song just simply says, because ain't no stopping me now. For those of you, perhaps you won't go to college or university, but perhaps you'll enroll in some kind of technical school or various means of that nature. And they begin to ask you, well, why don't you just stop at the GED level? You just tell them, because ain't no stopping me now. For those of you, perhaps you won't go back to school, you will begin searching new employment. Just simply tell you it's not an easy road, but if you find yourself in a situation, perhaps you fall down, get back up. And someone asks you, why did you get back up? You just tell them, because ain't no stopping me now. Because the scripture says that, yes, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Let me translate that. Ain't no stopping you now. May God bless you, and may God ever keep you is our prayer.
Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a song next.
You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. Oh, oh yeah. You can make it if you try. Sometimes you have to cry. Sometimes you have to sigh. You're gonna live until you die. Oh, oh yeah. You can make it if you try. If hard times get you down, don't go around singing the blues. Remember, my friend, everybody can win. Somebody got to lose. You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. Oh, oh yeah. You can make it if you try. If hard times get you down, don't go around singing the blues. Remember, my friend, everybody can win. Somebody got to lose. You can make it if you try. can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. Oh, yeah. You can make it if you try. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Let me try this again. Good morning. Hi, I'm Pat Shea. I'm the CEO of the YW. And first of all, let me say congratulations to all of you. What an accomplishment. And I am so honored to get to be part of your celebration. Secondly, I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker. But I need my glasses. Chief Surpass was appointed the 6th police chief for the Nashville Police Department in 2004. He now is a 30-year law enforcement veteran, having served as the chief of the Washington State Patrol for 2.5 years before coming to Nashville. Prior to his tenure in Washington, Chief Surpass was the Assistant Superintendent of Police and the first Chief of Operations for the New Orleans Police Department. Chief Surpass received his doctorate in urban studies with an emphasis in urban crime from the University of New Orleans. This is really important. During Chief Surpass's tenure in Nashville, the overall major crime reports have fallen for an unprecedented 6 consecutive years, to the lowest level in 20 years. And while the overall crime rate in Nashville are the lowest they've been in 31 years, please join me in welcoming a great friend of the YW and a great Chief of Police, Chief Ronald Surpass.
Good morning. Welcome to the graduates and the families, and it's good to be here in Mount Zion Church. What a great song we just heard, a great voice. That's one thing I can't do is sing or play guitar or anything such as that. Let's have a show of hands of everybody in here who has a GED. It's the degree I'm the most proud of. When I was a junior in high school, I was actually a year behind because education didn't come to me easily. When I was in 3rd grade, I failed. You have to work to fail 3rd grade. It just doesn't happen by accident. So when I was a junior in high school, I really should have been a senior. I was a little bit older than the rest of my classmates and loved playing football and loved playing basketball and was having a really good time. And in February of my junior year in high school, Julie Ann Adams, who I had been dating for some time, said to me something that's changed my life to this very day. She said, "I'm pregnant." And my son is now 32 years old. His name is Dustin, and he was born of that pregnancy. And I did like most people did in the mid-'70s. I used it as a tremendous excuse to quit school. I said, oh, well, heck, this is great. I ain't got to go to school anymore. I'm going to quit school, and I'm going to go out and work, and I'm going to be a grown-up man, and I'm going to have all these things to do. And after about 6 weeks of realizing that, I'm sure that the salaries are the same by comparison, but after about 6 weeks of realizing I was making $2.35 an hour, and my son was eating about $4.50 an hour, I realized that I was in some pretty deep trouble. So what I did with a tremendous amount of support from my family and friends is I went back and I enrolled in my GED program, Orleans Parish Public Schools. And the interesting thing is this, it's funny how the world goes in a circle. The principal of the school where I took the GED test in the summer after I quit, the name was Giolando. Turns out he was the principal of the same school that I failed 3rd grade. And when I walked in the door to take the test, I don't know if this man was gifted with a memory from the Lord himself or he just was lucky. But he looked at me when I walked in the door and he said, you know what, Surpass, I'm not the least bit surprised that I see you here. And over these last many years, I've looked back on that experience and recognized that the most important thing I could have done for my family, the most important thing I could have done for myself was start with the GED and not let that hold me back and not let that be the thing that would always be, geez, if you'd have just done that, you could have done this. I don't know what the future is for all of you, and you don't know what the future is for you yet either. I had no idea I'd go on and be further advanced in education. It didn't occur to me at the time, and maybe it may or may not occur to you right now. But by doing what you've done today, you've allowed yourself those choices. And that's the most important thing. You've allowed yourself those choices. The other thing you've done, and to really echo the words of the elder, everybody around you is watching you make these choices. And that's critical, because we all make mistakes. There's days you wake up and just say, darn, what was I thinking when I did that? And all of us have natural friends, and all of us have natural enemies. And our natural friends are going to support us, and our natural enemies are always going to be against us. And if you don't get lost between the two and you recognize that people want to see you be the best you can be, you'll always have support. You'll always have friends. Thinking through that, my last comments. When my mother was a 16-year-old girl living on Craig Air Force Base in Selma, Alabama, and her dad was the senior enlisted man for the base, my father was a 20-year-old boy from New Orleans, a New Orleans family from the 1800s. And this 20-year-old young man started dating this 16-year-old girl, and the next thing you know, out of that pregnancy came me. So really, I watched my mother. You see, my mother didn't get her GED until she was probably 32 or 33 years old. She raised 3 children. She worked at Burger King. She worked at Roy Rogers Restaurant. You may remember Roy Rogers. She always worked, but she always wanted to be a nurse. So what she did is she finally finished her GED with tremendous effort in the early 70s, with a boy who was 13 and a half being completely goofy, a boy who was 12 who was even goofier, and a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old that was the goofiest of all. And my father was a philanderer. He never came home much. And she had to deal with all of that, but she said, I'm going to get my GED because that's the only way I can go to nursing school. So she got her GED, and she went to nursing school. She went to licensed practical nursing school in Louisiana and scored the highest board scores in LPN in 1978 when she passed. When she passed the same year I quit high school because of pregnancy. Then she decided she wanted to be an RN. That's all she ever wanted to be. She stopped at the LPN first because that was the order of the life that had been put in front of her. Several years later, she went and finished her registered nursing degree at Charity Hospital in New Orleans, one of the oldest and most well-known nursing schools in the country. She finished at the top of her class and probably, I think, got the second highest board grade. I mean, she's a brilliant woman. But her and I both lived through teenage pregnancy. And when the Lord called my mother in 1990 after a needle stick from a patient that eventually killed her, it reminded me of all the things she did that I watched. And I watched her make those choices. And I made a commitment to the Lord that night that my children are going to get through teenage years without pregnancy, and they're going to go to college. Well, I'm 3 for 3 on the teenage pregnancy. Thank God for that. And I'm 2 for 2 on the college. My older daughter's in graduate school at LSU to be a nurse practitioner. My youngest daughter will be a senior at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville in August, and my son's been in and out of college as much as you and I've changed our shoes. But he's a good kid, and I know eventually he's going to get there. I'm proud to stand among you with the same distinction. I am a proud GED graduate. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chief, for sharing those that inspirational message with us, and for your leadership and the wonderful things you've done for our community. We're honored to have you here today. My name is Deneen Torr. I'm with Dollar General Corporation, and I oversee the Dollar General Literacy Foundation. And we are proud supporters of this graduation of the YWCA. I'm also a YWCA board member, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the beautiful work that you're doing, and it is amazing to stand here before you and look at the greatness in this room. All of you in your caps and gowns and the wonderful things that you're doing, and this is just the beginning of a great life for each of you. I have the opportunity now to introduce you to 2 of your fellow graduates, and they're going to come up and share their story of inspiration with you. The first one is Maria De La Rosa. Maria earned her GED in December of 2009 after working as a waitress and saving money for 8 years. She's the first in her family of 4 to obtain a GED or high school diploma. She's a single mother to 4-year-old and 9-year-old girls, and she's preparing to take the entrance test and will start Nashville State Community College in the fall. And the second individual I'd love to introduce you to is Tyrone Rogers. Tyrone is a custodian in a Metro public school, earned his GED in March of this year. He is father of 2 boys, one who's a 2-year-old, and the other one was just born last week, so he's a brand new dad. He and his wife are closing on a new home next week, and he will begin nighttime computer classes in the fall. So a new baby, a new GED, a new home, and here we are. So if you guys will please come up and share your story with us.
Good morning. My name is Maria De La Rosa. I came to the United States when I was 3 years old. I grew up and went to school in Nashville. At first, it was difficult because I didn't know the language, but it didn't take me long to become fully bilingual. I remember my mom always saying, "Please focus in school so you can have a different opportunity in life than the one I had." I wanted to make her happy, so I really focused. When I was in high school, I was an honor student. Although I was on the right path, I knew that after high school, I wasn't going to be able to continue in college. Why? The answer is simple. I was not legal. My mom applied for my residency in 1995, but that process is almost impossible. Waiting for a chance to become legal was my only hope. Meanwhile, during high school, I got pregnant. For someone like me who wanted to succeed, that was the worst mistake ever. Of course, I quit school after my daughter was born. I had to look for a job, and I found one as a server at a restaurant. I never imagined that would be my occupation for the next 8 years. Not a day went by without me thinking, I've got to save enough money to change my life and go back to school. After 8 hard working years, I found the YWCA GED program. I called the YWCA and found out there was a waiting list for classes. 2 weeks later, Buffy, the program director, said, "Come in and take your enrollment test." I remember telling Buffy I wasn't ready. She said, "Yes, you are. You're going to do just fine." I was so not ready, but I said, "Okay." The day of the enrollment test, I was both nervous and excited. To me, I had finally stepped into the door of success. After the test, the staff looked at the scores and told me that I was a good reader, but I needed some work in writing and, of course, math. So beginning on September 1st, 2009, I started going to classes every Tuesday and Thursday morning. In the classes, I began remembering a lot of the math that I thought I had forgotten, and also started learning new things. I did homework every night with my daughter. I could see that I was improving. I was learning about percents, geometry, and algebra. I especially enjoyed learning to write. I never missed a class, and that helped me learn a lot very quickly. My teacher, Miss Nancy, is the best teacher I have ever had. She made it so easy for me to understand everything we covered in class. Every couple of weeks, Miss Nancy tested me to see how much I was improving and what I still needed to work on. After only 1 month, she said I was ready to take the official practice test. That made me nervous, but I did just fine on everything but math. Again, Miss Nancy said not to worry. By the end of October, she said I was ready to sign up for the actual GED test. I panicked. All I could say was, "It's too soon. I think I need more time." I bet you can guess what Miss Nancy said. When the day for my test finally arrived, my knees were trembling and I was panicking. I, more than anyone, wanted and needed my GED. The test started. I felt pretty good about the first sections, but then on the essay part, I ran out of time. I thought my essay was the worst essay anybody could ever write. When I got my scores in the mail, I was more than excited. I did it. I passed. Wait, there's more. My grade was high enough for me to get a Hope Lottery scholarship. That essay must not have been so bad. I got a great grade on the writing part of the test. I am starting to realize how many opportunities are now open for me. This is just the beginning. Now people ask, what college would you like to go to? I still can't believe someone is asking me that question. I am so glad I never stopped believing that one day I could do it. I am preparing to take the Compass test and plan to enter Nashville State Community College in the fall. I want to work in the medical field. Helping people in need has always been something I enjoy doing. I think my bilingual skills will help me help others. Last but not least, I can't thank the YWCA enough for helping me. Thank you a billion, YWCA. You helped make my dream come true.
Good morning, folks. Can you hear me? A lot of people are looking at me and I'm too nervous. Let me start by acknowledging God, our Father, and thanking Him for getting us here. And in the process of saying that, oh my God, what is your name? Miss Tor, who introduced us. I thank you so much, because most of my story I was about to read, you basically said it. So let me ad-lib to that, basically. Give you a small story of my humble grounds and our humble grounds of getting to this point. Basically, I quit school at an early age. I thought I was the one who knew everything. It took me a lot of years to understand that I don't control any of this. None of us do. So basically, when I got older, I realized that, hey, for me to succeed in life, I have to do things that's achievable. By sitting at home watching video games, playing with kids and stuff, didn't work out for me. What I mean by that is playing, wasting my time. So basically, as I found the woman that I love, Miss Andrea, she accepted my marriage, my proposal in marriage, and we've been together for 2.5 years now, and things are going strong. And her being a college graduate, me and her talked a lot about education, and she knew I didn't have my GED, nor did I finish school. So from that point on, she encouraged me, along with my mother, my brothers and sisters, and my father at the time. He's passed away now, but they all encouraged me to do things. And working around professional in metro public schools, I wanted to do more. I wanted to be on that level as per se, of what they're doing. So after a lot of talking and contemplating and procrastinating, I actually called up the YMCA, and they deferred me to the YWCA. Thank God for them. And I talked to Buffy, I took my entrance test, and I scored fairly well. And from that point, I started in August 2nd of '09. It took me up until March 26th to actually complete and get my GED scores back when I took the official test on March 25th, 26th. I'm still nervous, y'all gotta forgive me. I excelled in reading. I excelled in science, did moderate in math. And now as I've gotten here today, I look down, I look at other people, and they ask me, when I tell them my scores, they say, well, you can do this, you can do that. My first initial thing to get this GED was to go into information technology at Nashville State Tech. Now, listening to you guys, I have choices. People saying I can get into science, medical areas, people telling me this and that. So right now, I think you stumped me again, folks. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hopefully, I'll choose the right decision in the fall. I will proceed into higher education. And I want to congratulate all the staff that supported me into this, helped me with this, along with my wife and my family. I got to get your names right because I keep messing them up. Here we go. I'd like to thank Bill. Okay, here we go. My teacher at the YWCA, Mrs. Marcellus, if she's here, Bill Turner, Bill Barron, and Levo Mulgrew. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right, but that's the best I can do. And I excelled in reading. I didn't miss one question in reading. I can't believe that.
and I'm up here stuttering and nervous and doing what I'm doing right now. Basically, I'm not to waste all you guys' time because that in the backup we was talking about, and I can talk. I hate to say that. Everybody who's in class with me know I'm a talker. Basically, remember what got you here, and use that to keep going. Don't let this GED, as our honorable speakers talked to us earlier about. Don't let this slowly. Don't just keep this and say I got that and I'm done. Whatever you use to get you to this point, believe me, folks, we can continue doing this. We can do more. And like Surpass says, and other folks have said, when the outside look at you and see you have accomplished something, that encourages them. They might not want to admit it, but they'll sit back and in the urban world we call them haters. But the haters finally look at themselves and say, hey, I know I can do that. And looking at us, they'll be like, well, hey, he's simple. I mean, they consider me, not me, but consider us as doing this a simple thing. It's not a simple thing. It took a lot of courage and willpower for you to push yourself to get up every morning. And my school hours changes from Monday to Wednesday to Friday, then it switched up to Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I was working around every kind of angle to make sure I get into school. And Josh is laughing at me, and he knows I was in class with me. But once again, use this. Remember what got you here, and continue to go. Because if you stop at this level, you never know what you can do in the end. And I thank you, and bear with me. God bless.
How could you forget me, Tyrone? Thank you so much, Tyrone and Maria, for sharing your stories with us. I'm Buffy Holton. I'm the director of the YWCA GED Preparation Services Program, and it is my sincere pleasure to read the names of the graduates as they come forward to receive their certificates. We could go ahead and start lining them up, and I'd like to ask the audience to please hold their applause until the end. We've got a lot of graduates to give certificates to. If the faculty of the YWCA program could come and stand down here at the front, and Pat Shea, Deneen Tor, and Chief Surpass, if you could stand in front of the podium. While we're waiting for the graduates to line up, I'd just like to take this opportunity to say thank you again to the Mount Zion Baptist Church for being our partner and for allowing us to have our ceremony in this truly beautiful location. It's an honor to be here. Michelle Amar. Davita Andrews. Alan Ontes. Cho A. James Bailey. Dalal Bashir. Roger Birdsong, Jr. Takesha Blake. Joshua Boone. Linda Bowling Robbins. Brittany Brassel. Lavonda Caldwell. Carrington Carter. Christina Chastain. Michael Chavers. Courtney Cisneros. Omar Dahir. Wanda DeGalliford. Maria De La Rosa. Anthony Christian DeMundrian. Kenesha Douglas. Latanya Easley. Andrew Edmond. Didevi Ado bin Nissan. Jose Falconet. Stephanie Farmer. Tammy Fisher. Amanda Flowers. Anthony Freeman. Mario Garcia. Emilia Gira. Lashanadra Hall. Let's give this first group of graduates a round of applause. While the second group of graduates is getting lined up, I'd like to introduce the faculty of the YWCA GED Preparation Services program. Teaching is something that most teachers do because they love it. We love learning and we love passing on the ability to learn to others. That moment when we see the spark of understanding in our students' eyes and watch them take off on their own is something we live for. I know all of the teachers are very proud of their students today. If each teacher would step forward as I call his or her name: Bill Barron, Audrey Cermak, Karin Wickert, Janie Cobb, Nancy Pellichet, Donna Grooverman, and Bill Turner. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce someone that I know all of our students know. The lady in the blue jacket down here is Sharon Epler, our program assistant. Sharon is the one that makes the first contact with each student as they enter our program and makes them feel truly welcome. And she's the one that keeps it all running smoothly. We couldn't do it without her. Amanda Hart. Kiana Hendricks. Jessica Hyatt. Joshua Hill. Jessica Hoffman. Shanique Howard. DeMarcos Jackson. Nicole Johnson. Michael Jones. Elsa Juarez. Shay Lavender. Alicia Lesh. O'Connor Lamont Lewis. Ashley Malone. Gilbert Malone, Jr. Chaz Matthews. Amber Mays. Michael McCollum. Antrell McComb. Wayne Meeker. Lori Moore. Sherry Moore. Tyrone Rogers. Jennifer Roman. James Ruddy. Mandy Ryman. Angel Slush. Darren Smith, Sr. Jerry Spencer. Joseph Sutton. Jonathan Tate. David Whitaker. Leslie Whitefield. Jamashua Wiseman. And some applause for this second group of graduates. Thank you, Pat Deneen, Chief Surpass, and teachers. You can return to your seats now. Thank you. That was wonderful. The graduates that we're honoring here today have reached an important milestone in their lives. They came to this point after much hard work, great persistence, while juggling the demands of their jobs, children, relationships, and the daily challenges of life. And this is a familiar theme today, I think, but this is not the place for them to stop. It's just the beginning. They should continue learning in college, through job training programs, as they move forward in their careers, and as they work to better themselves and their communities. John Dewey, who is a famous American philosopher and educator, said, "Education is a social process. Education is growth. Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself." We must all become lifelong learners. It's the only way that we can improve ourselves, our communities, and our country. If any of you don't have your high school diploma and need help passing the GED test, please call us. We would love to help you. If you have children in school, keep them there. I don't want to see them in our program. And if you have young children, read to them. It's the very best thing you can do to prepare them for success in school. At this time, I'd like the GED Preparation Services graduating class of 2010 to please stand and face the audience. If you would, graduates, move your tassels from the right side of your cap to the left. And graduates, at this time, if you would please give thanks to the many friends and family members who I know supported you and helped you get here today. Thank you, graduates. I'm going to ask you to remain standing, but turn back around and face the stage again. There will be lots of chances for taking pictures when we get outside. I'd like to have the friends and family please remain at your seats until the graduates have recessed from the sanctuary, and then join us in the fellowship hall for a reception.
I want to tell you a story about my life. Everything I did, I had to do it twice. It doesn't look like I'm making headway, doing the same thing every day. I want to be somebody. There's gonna be a better way. I want to be somebody. I want to be somebody someday. Every night I go out hanging with the crowd, but don't do nothing but talking out loud. Gotta do something better to do. Light up my life or get rid of the blues. I wanna be somebody. There's gotta be a better way. Yeah, I wanna be somebody. I wanna be somebody someday. Come on with it. Here we go. Play it now. I hope one day I'm able to see sign of life that's good to me. One that'll help guide my way. Gonna be somebody someday. I wanna be somebody. Yeah, wanna be somebody someday. I wanna be somebody. I wanna be somebody someday. We're going to four. This is what I wanna do. I wanna see from you and you. I wanna be somebody. I wanna be somebody someday. Bring it down, y'all. Look here. We wanna congratulate all the graduates. We're gonna change the lyrics a little bit. We're going to five and we're going to change the lyrics a little bit. Okay? Well, I am somebody. On the one, I am somebody today. Yeah, I am somebody. Am somebody today. We're going home. I wanna be somebody. Going to the bridge. Gonna be somebody someday. This is what I wanna do. I wanna sing for me and you. I wanna be somebody. I wanna be somebody someday. One more, turn it around now. I wanna be somebody. I wanna be somebody someday. Yeah, congratulations. Thank you. My guitar went off. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, no, I did. I was watching my notes. It was beautiful. Everything was perfect. I know. You should be surprised. It was so great to see them all come past and look at their faces when they were walking. I just want to make sure about taking your pocket. I'm supposed to be God. Even the ones that got their test back
trying. I'm going to try to, but Tammy's the one who's leading.
Okay.
No problem. But yeah, email me. That's, email is fine.